Chosen one, you are the world's only hope. Welcome, brave soul. You are not here by chance. No, you are called. Within you awakens a power that will bring light to the world. The challenges may be great, but your destiny is even greater. You were born for this moment. The universe has aligned. The stars have whispered your name. And now, it is time to stand up. Are you ready to accept this call? Are you ready to discover your power and live your destiny? Then write 777 in the comments, because the world is waiting for you. Here we go. The storm is brewing, and its arrival will be swift and unannounced. That lingering presence, the one who has fed off your energy from a distance, is growing restless. The silent observer, the collector of whispers, has exhausted every tactic from the shadows. When manipulation from afar fails, they will be forced into the open, appearing at your door with a mask of sorrow and carefully rehearsed words. Their sudden reappearance is no coincidence. It is desperation in motion. The performance they bring will be finely tuned, each tear strategically placed, each sigh meticulously timed. But beneath the polished act lies a single motive: access. Access to what was once freely given, but is now firmly out of reach. Their hunger is unmistakable, an insatiable void that no amount of deception can truly fill. The cloak of secrecy they once wore has been stripped away, exposing the truth they can no longer conceal. This is not a meeting of fate, but a calculated move, an attempt to breach the walls that now separate them from the source of their former sustenance. They are no longer sustained by stolen energy, no longer able to weave themselves into the fabric of your world undetected. Your elevation has rendered their tactics useless, forcing them into a confrontation they never wanted but can no longer avoid. For too long, they mistook reflection for radiance, mistook proximity to light for possession of it. Their presence in your past was not companionship but convenience, a means to bask in the glow of something they could never generate themselves. Now, the illusion has shattered. The shift in frequency has locked them out, a divine intervention designed to protect what is sacred. This is not coincidence. It is a natural law in action. The separation is not a loss. It is a recalibration, ensuring that what is misaligned is no longer within reach. Watch closely, for their return will not be heralded with honesty, but cloaked in feigned humility. Their eyes will tell the truth before their lips do. Restless, searching, calculating, this is not about closure. It is about regaining entry. Their presence is not an olive branch, but a pry bar, seeking the weak points in the fortress of your newfound peace. They do not grieve the loss of connection. They grieve the loss of control. Their return is not a testament to change, but to strategy, a final attempt to reclaim what has already been taken from them by the forces of alignment itself. The storm cannot return to the sky once it has passed. The river does not flow backward to fetch what it has left behind. And just as the caterpillar cannot crawl back into its cocoon once it has taken flight as a butterfly, there are those who cannot, who must not, be allowed back into the sacred space of your life. There comes a point in every journey where the road behind is no longer an option, where the bridges burned were meant to remain as ashes, where the doors that closed did so under divine instruction. Some will try to rewrite what has already been sealed. They will come, not with truth, but with carefully crafted words, with softened voices, with eyes that tell a story their soul does not believe. But you must stand firm. You must know what you know. You must recognize that not every presence in your past was meant to continue into your future. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. They do not return out of love. They do not come seeking redemption. What calls them back is not conviction, but necessity, the cold, empty realization that their supply has been cut off. You were never a person to them. You were a source, a well they could draw from, a flame they could stand next to so they might appear to shine. But now, the light they borrowed has moved beyond their reach. The warmth they took for granted has faded into the distance. The lifeline they depended on is no longer extended. And so they come, not out of repentance, not out of revelation, but out of lack. A void has been left in the space where they once fed, and in their desperation, they seek to fill it again. But hear this truth: absence is not an invitation. Distance is not a void waiting to be filled. The silence between you is not an unfinished story. It is a completed chapter, sealed with finality. Those who return do so not to honor you, but to use you. They come rehearsed, their words polished, their expressions crafted with precision. They will claim growth, but their growth is in deception, not in spirit. They will say they have changed, but what they mean is they have adjusted their strategy. The test is not in what they say, but in what you have learned. Have you truly risen, or will you allow yourself to be drawn back into cycles that no longer serve you? There is no compromise with what was sent to drain you, no negotiations with what was designed to delay you, no peace treaties with what thrives in disorder. You must stand on what you know, not on what you wish were true. The past has already given you its lesson. It is not your duty to retake the test. Let them knock, let them plead, but let them find no entrance. The gate has been closed, and the road forward does not include them. What you are experiencing is not rejection. It is divine protection. You were not abandoned. You were set apart. What was removed from your life was not lost. It was released. Some people were only ever meant to be part of your story for a season, and when that season ended, so did their purpose in your life. The danger comes when you try to resurrect what was meant to stay buried, when you allow what was cut away to be reattached, when you reopen doors that were closed by the wisdom of heaven itself. The old must be allowed to pass away so that the new may take its place. The temple must be cleared of those who do not honor its sacred space. Like a grand oak planted by a still stream, deeply rooted in divine wisdom, you stand firm in a world that often fails to see the beauty of your decisions. Just as that mighty tree does not bend to every passing gust, nor allow the storms to strip away its leaves, you have chosen to stand tall, shielded by the truth of your calling. In this sacred journey, not everyone will grasp the depth of your choices. Some will misunderstand your steadfast refusal to re-engage with those who once sought to drain your spirit. They may label you as unkind, accuse you of a lack of compassion, or even call you cold-hearted. Yet, the truth is far more nuanced and profound than the fleeting judgments of the unseeing. There are those who simply cannot comprehend that your decision is not born of a hardened heart, but of a clear vision for the future, a future that is bright with promise and overflowing with divine favor. They might say that your refusal to reconnect with old, draining influences is a sign of bitterness or cruelty. But wisdom, that precious gift bestowed upon you by the Creator, clearly distinguishes between a door that is securely closed for protection and a raw, exposed wound that invites further harm. You are not denying the world love. Rather, you are choosing not to host those who would seek to leech off your abundant blessings. Instead of bitterness, you have cultivated discernment. Instead of anger, you walk in the light of unassailable truth. In the eyes of some, your resolute boundaries might appear as harshness, yet those very barriers are a testament to the transformation that has taken place within you. They are reminders that you have come to understand that to safeguard your spirit, you must sometimes say no, even when the request is cloaked in familiar, gentle words. The voices that once promised warmth now ring hollow, for they echo with the remnants of a past that no longer serves you. It is not a matter of withholding love. It is a matter of self-respect and divine order. You have recognized that to open your heart indiscriminately is to invite chaos where there should only be peace and prosperity. Your journey is not one of isolation, but of empowered living, a vibrant testimony to the transformative power of faith and the courage to walk away from what does not nurture your soul. When critics call your actions unyielding or your spirit unforgiving, remember that the wisdom of the ages distinguishes between a closed door designed to protect and a tender wound that remains exposed to harm. In choosing to keep certain doors firmly shut, you have not built a barrier against compassion. Rather, you have constructed a sanctuary where only those who genuinely uplift your spirit may enter. There is a profound strength in knowing that what you have seen, once illuminated by the light of divine insight, cannot be unseen. This revelation is not a burden, but a badge of honor that marks your awakening. In the quiet moments of reflection, when you sit in the stillness of your heart, you recognize that you are no longer captive to the manipulations of those who once feasted on your vulnerability. Their attempts to sway you with soft words and rehearsed gestures are mere echoes of a time when you were still learning to value your own worth. Today, you stand firm on a foundation built of truth and clarity, a foundation that neither time nor transient emotions can shake. Consider the many seasons of your life, each one a chapter filled with lessons learned and victories won. It is in the turning of these seasons that you have discovered the undeniable truth that self-respect and discernment are the keys to a life abundant with blessings. When others question the strength of your convictions, ask yourself if they have ever had to walk the narrow path of spiritual awakening, if they have ever seen the transformative light of divine mercy that illuminates even the darkest corners of the heart. You have been granted the gift of sight, a vision that pierces through pretense and false affection to reveal the heart of what truly matters. Your decision to stand firm is not an act of defiance, but an affirmation of the divine order that governs all things. It is an echo of a higher calling, a whisper of eternal truth that resonates in the very core of your being. You have been called to a higher standard, a life where every step is measured against the scales of integrity and purpose. Those who once profited from your vulnerability now find themselves on the outside looking in, for you have awakened to the realization that you are far too precious to allow any influence to diminish your light. The journey of discernment is one paved with moments of both sorrow and joy, of pain transformed into wisdom, and regret turned into determination. In every encounter, you are reminded of the value of your own soul, a soul that has been refined by fire and tempered by grace. And so, as you continue on this path, let the critics cast their stones. Let the doubters speak their unkind words. Their opinions hold no power over the sacred truth that you carry within. For in your heart, you know that each decision, each boundary set, is a step toward a destiny filled with promise and divine favor. Your life, like a radiant beacon shining in the darkest night, calls out to those who have yet to find their own strength. It is a message of hope, a reminder that even in a world filled with unkind voices, there is a power in choosing truth over conformity, in selecting the path of righteousness over the easy way out. You are not beholden to the expectations of those who once thrived on your compliance. You are a testament to the beauty of transformation, an example of how the spirit can soar free when it is unencumbered by the weight of past mistakes. Every time you affirm your boundaries, you declare that your spirit is sovereign, that your life is under the stewardship of a higher purpose. The critics may label your actions as severe, but they cannot fathom the depth of conviction that has led you to this point. In their eyes, you might seem unyielding. In the light of truth, you are simply protecting what is sacred. You are standing guard at the door of your own heart, and you have chosen not to let in those who would only serve to dim your brilliance. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the super thank you button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. Your discernment is a beacon for others who may find themselves lost in the shadows of doubt and despair. As you navigate the complexities of relationships and personal growth, you do so with the unwavering knowledge that every step taken in truth leads to a future steeped in abundance. There is a power in the simple act of saying no, a power that reverberates through the corridors of your life, shaking off the remnants of past hurts and paving the way for a new dawn. Let it be known that the decisions you make today are seeds planted for a harvest of immeasurable worth. With every boundary you set, you create space for blessings to flow freely into your life. Those who once took advantage of your generosity are now left on the threshold, unable to cross the line you have drawn in the sands of your soul. You have embraced a higher calling, a calling that speaks of divine favor, of prosperity, and of the sacred duty to honor the truth that resides within. In the midst of life's clamor and chaos, you have found solace in the quiet assurance that comes from walking in truth. There is a sacred rhythm in your steps, a harmonious melody that resonates with the promise of new beginnings. Your heart beats in tune with the eternal pulse of divine grace, and every moment of clarity is a testament to the journey you have courageously undertaken. Those who once misjudged your refusal now see in the mirror of time that your actions are not a denial of love, but a profound affirmation of self-worth and spiritual integrity. Imagine for a moment a vast garden where every plant is nurtured by the gentle rain of divine favor and bathed in the warm light of endless possibilities. In this garden, each boundary you set is like a carefully tended fence that ensures only the most nurturing energies can enter. The unworthy, like invasive weeds, are kept at bay, unable to steal the nourishment meant only for your growth. This garden is a reflection of your inner world, a world where truth reigns supreme, where every act of discernment is an act of faith in the promise of tomorrow. As you journey through life, remember that your refusal to allow toxic influences back into your space is not an act of isolation, but a bold declaration of self-love and divine purpose. It is a message to the world that you are not available for those who would diminish your light. You have seen the cost of yielding to manipulation, and you have chosen instead to embrace the freedom that comes from holding fast to your spiritual boundaries. In doing so, you have become an inspiration, a living testament to the power of transformation and the blessings that flow when one walks in the path of righteousness. The critics may continue to question your resolve, casting labels that fail to capture the richness of your journey. They might whisper that you are heartless, unfeeling, or overly cautious. Yet what they do not understand is that every moment of discernment, every instance of setting a boundary, is a step toward a life overflowing with the promises of a higher destiny. You are not denying love. You are preserving it for those who truly honor the sanctity of your being. You are not bitter. You have been refined in the fires of experience, emerging with a clarity that few possess. There is an undeniable strength in knowing that your worth is not determined by the fleeting opinions of those who once thrived on your energy. Your life is a testament to the power of self-respect, a declaration that you will not allow past hurts to dictate the terms of your future. Each time you stand firm, you send a resounding message to the world that your spirit is invincible, that your path is ordained by a love far greater than any that seeks to diminish it. And in that steadfast resolve, you find the freedom to embrace the full measure of your blessings, to walk in the light of a truth that is both ancient and ever new. As you reflect on the journey that has brought you to this moment of clarity, remember that every challenge faced, every hardship overcome, has been a stepping stone to a greater destiny. Your refusal to reopen doors that were once closed is not a denial of compassion. It is an acknowledgement that some wounds must be left to heal in solitude, untouched by those who do not carry the same burden of truth. In the sacred space of your heart, you have found the courage to let go of what once was, and in doing so, you have made room for what is yet to come, a life filled with abundance, joy, and the everlasting promise of divine favor. Do not be deceived by familiar voices. Do not mistake longing for love, nor persistence for sincerity. Some will return not because they miss you, but because they miss what they were able to take from you. Your strength, your kindness, your peace, your presence. They see what God is doing in your life, and they want access, not to you, but to the benefits of your anointing. But they have not done the work. They have not taken the steps. They have not faced themselves. And so they try to skip the process, to latch on to what they have not earned, to gain proximity to the blessings they have not sown into. This is the hour to be steadfast, to remain unmoved, to trust what you know and honor what you have learned. Some will call it arrogance, but it is wisdom. Some will call it cruelty, but it is clarity. Not everyone who walks away is meant to return, and not everyone who reaches out is meant to be received. Be discerning, be unshaken, be bold in your boundaries. Let them knock, let them cry, let them beg, but let them find no entrance. For the road ahead is paved for the chosen, and the chosen do not look back. The intrusion is relentless, cloaked in the illusion of concern. This is not admiration, nor is it genuine interest. It is a desperate attempt to reassert control. To them, autonomy is a betrayal, a loss of influence that cannot be tolerated. The obsession manifests in prying eyes that track every step, in invisible threads woven through conversations where your name surfaces without invitation. Social spaces become their hunting ground, every digital trace scrutinized, every whisper among shared circles, collected like stolen fragments of your existence. And when the time is ripe, they will emerge, not as a coincidence, but as a calculated force, feigning familiarity, offering trinkets that mirror your past, proof that they have been watching. This is not sentiment. This is intrusion. Barriers must be fortified, not out of cruelty, but necessity. This is no longer a game of patience or diplomacy. This is an act of self-preservation. The body recognizes danger before the mind does, a shift in the air, a tightening of the spirit, an invisible weight pressing down. These signals are not paranoia. They are warnings. When they appear, explanations are unnecessary. Justifications are a waste of breath. Every word becomes ammunition in their hands, a key they will twist to reopen the gates you closed. Silence holds more weight than argument. Distance is your greatest defense. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Should their persistence escalate, documentation becomes your ally. A record of unwarranted contact, a meticulous collection of each intrusion, every attempt to overstep. And if lines are crossed, action must be taken. The law exists not only for justice, but as a tool of protection. Ground yourself before every response, reclaim the sovereignty of your space, and stand firm in the knowledge that their attempts to penetrate your world do not dictate your reality. A boundary is not a suggestion. It is a wall, reinforced by willpower and wisdom. There is no room for hesitation. The slightest hesitation, the smallest wavering, will be exploited. They rely on familiarity, on kindness, on the echoes of the past that still linger in the recesses of your heart. But their words are scripts, their remorse a performance, their intentions unchanged. Their return is not a testament to transformation, but to persistence. When they claim enlightenment, they mean adaptation. When they profess longing, they mean hunger. When they ask for a moment, they mean a foothold. When they demand to be understood, they mean to rewrite the narrative in their favor. Beyond the veil of falsehood lies an unspoken agenda. It is not love that calls them back, but necessity. Your growth, your elevation, has severed the access they once took for granted. Where they see progress, they see exclusion. Where they see peace, they see obstruction. Chaos is their currency, disorder their method of attachment. If turmoil can be reintroduced, if your steps forward can be halted, then they regain relevance. They do not need affection. They need an opening. Any response, any reaction, be it anger, sympathy, or nostalgia, gives them a thread to pull. Detachment is the only language they cannot manipulate. And for some, the motivation runs deeper than energy. It is material, tangible, opportunistic. The ascent you have made is not invisible to them. Success is a magnet for those who seek to benefit without effort. Resources, networks, influence, these are not unnoticed, and they will attempt to siphon what they have not earned. To them, reconnection is not about healing. It is about access. Stop here. This is not for everyone. But for those who feel it, who recognize the message in their bones, this is a call to awareness. This is for the ones who refuse to shrink, who defy the expectations of the ordinary, who walk alone if they must, but never backward. These are the architects of transformation, the ones who take destruction and mold it into divinity, the ones who carry wisdom not spoken, but carved into the soul. The untamed, the unshaken, the undeniable, the ones who are no longer within reach.